Hey guys, another match day preview. This time we're going to be talking about the Mariners as we are back at home again as we host MK Dons. This happens on Saturday afternoon. This happens at 3 o'clock. And can the Mariners stop a 2-game losing streak at home? Let's hope so. I'll start this preview by obviously saying the news did come out earlier via the football club that Danny Rose has extended his stay by an extra year to stay with the Mariners, and that is very good business by the club in general, I think, because that kind of gives us, we haven't got to worry over the summer. Is Danny going to stay, or is Danny going to get offered anything else? The fact that Danny has agreed to stay on as well is a bit of a coup for us, because I think everyone does love a bit of Danny Rose, and who wouldn't? So that's great to see. Great to see. I wrote my R's there. Great to see. Aye. And so that's good to know that he's here till the summer of 2026. So that is great to know that we've got at least another season and a half with Danny Rose in a black and white shirt. Also, this could be the final game in the loan of Jackson Smith, the lone goalkeeper. Could be. I'm not saying it will be, but the interviews that's been taking place with Jackson seems like the end could be close to this loan deal. Obviously, Jordan Wright is back in full training, but according to David Arteta in his pre-matches, it said that in his pre-matches, because I've heard both, it feels like Jordan's shoulder is still bruised. If it's still really bruised, we may have one more week. So it'll either be this week or next week. I think it'll be maybe, if it isn't this week, if this is not Jackson's last week, I think next week probably will be. So it'll either be Monday or it'll be the following week, I think. But I do believe Jackson's loan is coming to an end. As a fan, I would honestly look at bringing him in January, I would say, because we're still, if it's a 6-month injury to Jake Eastwood, Artel did say he'd be back before the end of the season, but if it's 6 months from when he did it, which was early October, unless he makes an absolutely miraculous recovery, he won't be back till April anyway, at the absolute earliest. So, do I see a loan for Jackson Smith for the rest of the season? Yes, I do. Doesn't mean it will, but I feel like I could see that happening, most definitely. And but we'll have to wait and see on that. Obviously, the club won't say anything. Jackson can't. He's obviously the one that's really stuck in it, because he doesn't know how long he's going to be here for. Tomorrow, Saturday's game with MK Dons may be his last one. It may go into the following week. Who knows? So, but if it was my decision, I'd look at trying to loan him back for the rest of this season at least. Because I don't think, like I said, with the injury for Jake, if it's a 6-month injury, he's not going to be fit till April anyway. So, if he was that confident of Seb Orton, got a few goalkeepers under contract here, but Seb won't get many games. So, to me, if Jake's not going to be back until February at the earliest, then I could understand why he'd probably try and get through it. But obviously, it is a little while with a dislocated shoulder for Jordan. So we'll have to see what goes on in that. Artel seems to be fairly happy with what's going on this week. No new injury issues apart from the other long-standing ones, such as Curtis Thompson, but he is getting closer. Jaden Luca, not Jordan Luca. Jaden Luca is getting closer as well, and things are looking good so far for the Mariners. Who knows? We're seventh. Artel, like I said, I'm not Artel's biggest fan, but keep getting the results. I can easily be persuaded the other way. I like not, because then I'm hopefully getting him to prove me wrong. So enjoying the success, but the only thing I would say, last bit to finish this part, is we just need to get tighter at home. I'm not asking to win every week. I'm not asking to win every single time. But doesn't matter who it's against. We don't want to be losing 3-4 goal gaps. We don't want that. Lose, yeah, it can happen. Anybody can beat anybody in this level. It's already been proven, Like I said, we went and beat Gillingham. Fleetwood went and thrashed Walsall. Colchester have got a result when you don't expect it. Accrington gets, beat Barrow last week. It's one of those leagues where anybody can beat anybody. Take a loss as long as it's not a heavy one. And hopefully the heavy defeats will stop from this. So let's get into the meat and potatoes, shall we say, of this preview, as I've already gone on 5 minutes. Oh, I love to waffle. But I'm using Soccer Punter again for my stats for this game. And it's the Mariners at home to the MK Dons. MK Dons now been taken charge by former Crawley boss Scott Lindsey, who we know very well, considering his Crawley side beat us on the last day of last season where it was a 2-0 win for them, which saw them make the top 7 and then make the way up to League One. So Scott definitely knows this league very well, so that's a good appointment for MK Dons. I must admit, Scott Lindsey is a good, strong gaffer at this level. If we look at the league form between the two sides, in the last 5 games, the Mariners have won 3 with 2 defeats. MK Dons have won 3, drew 1 and lost 1. So, fairly good form for both sides. If we look at the head-to-head ratio between the MK Dons and Grimsby Town, fairly even, really. It's 40% each, with a roughly around about a 20% draw rate. That leads to, out of the last 10 games, MK Dons has won 4, Grimsby have won 4, 2 draws. The goal ratio leads 12-10 in MK Dons' favour. That's 1.2 goals scored for MK Dons and 1 goal scored per game for Grimsby. So it could go either way, really. But there does seem to be goals quite regularly between the MK Dons and Grimsby. In the last, we'll take you through the last 4 games. We'll take you all the way back to 2018. Under Michael Jolly, when the Mariners played the MK Dons in the FA Cup, and we got a 3-1 win that day, and Ethan Robson with an absolute curler into the top corner got us the winning goal that day against the MK Dons. Next time we played them was the following season, which was in January of 2019. Grimsby won that game as well, a 1-0 win. But last season, when we last played them, there was a draw between Mariners and MK Dons at the Milton Keynes Dons Stadium, and the Mariners got another 1-0 win against the MK Dons back in March of this year. in a game, really, you wouldn't have expected us to get a goal against. That came by Justin Abikwu, who got the winning goal against MK Dons out of absolutely nowhere. So in recent terms, the 3 out of the last 4 games, the Mariners have got results against the MK Dons. So, that could be a good omen for the team. But MK Dons do have some good players at their disposal as well. I think they are in a bit of a false position. I fully expect them to improve, especially under Scott. He's definitely got something. Of course, our history with MK Dons goes way back to 2006, but obviously remember the Johnson Pate Trophy final in 2008 when Alan Buckley's Grimsby Town lost to Paul Ince's MK Dons. A 2-0 whimper it was for the Mariners that day. But it's a game of very good, 2 very good footballing teams. I think Artel tries to play football the right way. So does Scott Lindsey, to be honest. So it's going to be a very competitive game, I think. But like I said, we need all hands to the pump defensively. We can do it away from home defensively. Can we try and tighten that up? If we do, it could be quite an interesting game. But it's going to be one of these games, isn't it, where it's either going to be plenty of goals or not that many. Grimsby, if they can get the opening goal, they've already shown this season, if they can score first, 9 times out of 10 they'll either win or get something. So that is, the first goal could be key on Saturday between the 2 teams. If we look at a bit of the odds as well, you can get Grimsby at certain places at 23-10. The draw is 9-4, and Milton Keynes are 23-20. So there's not a lot in it in that regard. Please do bet responsibly if you are going to have a go. Please do bet responsibly on that. And if we look at overall stats overall for the teams, the top assist for MK Dons is Callum Hendry. Obviously, Denver Hume is ours. Alex Gilby is the top goal scorer for the MK Dons. Luca Barrington is at the moment the top goal scorer for the Mariners. We've had 1 comeback win. MK Dons have not come back to win a game. So is that the biggest victory for us? Like I said, was the 3-2 win against Cheltenham back in August. Our biggest defeat was 4-1 against Notts County and Walsall, joint biggest defeats. Whereas MK Dons' biggest win was a 5-1 win, and their biggest defeat was a 3-0 defeat. We've missed 1 penalty, which was Danny Rose last time out against Tranmere, and no missed penalties for MK Dons so far this season. If we do look at the league tables, you can see how tight everything is so far. MK Dons are down in 12th. 5 wins from 13 games, 3 draws and 5 defeats, 18 goals scored, 15 conceded, a +3 goal difference on 18 points. And the Mariners lie in a playoff place. Hurrah! 7 wins from 13 games, no draws so far, and 6 defeats. This is the only bit that's really concerning, is 17 goals scored for the Mariners, 22 conceded, a -5 goal difference. So, that is a little bit of a concern, but it just shows you how tight this league is. Down as low as Newport, going all the way up to Port Vale in first, there is 9 points between Newport, just below MK Dons, and Port Vale. At the top, there's 3 wins, basically parts those 14 teams. So, it's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. There's nothing in this league at all. Donny obviously lost midweek as well. at home to a team you wouldn't expect them to lose to, and so we're hopeful. A lot of again, I'm not getting carried away so far. I'm pleased with what we've done so far, but there's always a but. We need to be more clinical in front of goal, at home especially, and not let our heads drop if we do concede a goal. That's one of the weaknesses of Grimsby at the moment. In regards to team news, I think he wants to play the two up top, and I said that when he very first got here. Artel wants to play a two up top. I think his preferred two would be Danny Rose and Justin Abiku. They did play together on Tuesday, and you could see the difference. For Danny, he will run his butt off. Danny Rose will run his butt off. He wasn't our top scorer last season for nothing. Unfortunate with the penalty, but I don't think that'll get to Danny, because in the end, Justin showed he's got a deft touch. And can score with one of the most difficult chances, and the most difficult chance in the game actually. But we've got good players there, and I know that, even though I may have been being very critical of the team, but it's because I don't like heavy defeats. I can take defeats. I don't like heavy ones. Defeats, yeah, I can take those. They're like water off a duck's back. But what the Mariners are showing is that, away from home they can defend. We just now need to do similar, and if we can't defend, we need to be more clinical in front of goal at home. This is going to be a difficult game for me to pick, though. What do I say? There's not been many goals in the games this season. It's all down to the first goal. Grimsby's games are all about that first goal. If Grimsby get it, you'd fancy Grimsby to win it. If Grimsby don't, you'd fancy MK Dons. It's one of those kind of situations. It all depends on who scores first. And like I said, in our games, it's very, very pinnacle. It's pivotal, I should say, not pinnacle. It's pivotal, that Town score first. And if they do, we know they've got enough in them to keep teams like MK Dons out. I'm going to say 2-1 on the provision that we score first. It is going to be down to, can Grimsby get the opening goal on Saturday afternoon? Point blank, and it's been proven this year. Every single time Town has scored first, we've won, bar Carlisle. But every other game, bar Carlisle, that we've won, out of the 7 games that we have won, we've scored first. That's just showing you how crucial it is that we do, because every game that we've lost, we've conceded first. So, really, for the Mariners, it is important about who gets that first goal. Can we? I'm saying 2-1. We need to score first. What am I going to basically go for? Goal scorers. I think I'm going to go for Danny Rose, because he'll want to obviously celebrate his new contract with a goal, and I think that he will. And who do I say to get a second? Do you know what? I'm going to go for a striking double, because I think Justin and Danny will play up front together, probably. Especially if they're both fit. So I'm going to go for Justin to get the second one. 2-2 for Justin. Why not? 2-1. It's a difficult game, this, though. So it's going to be an interesting game as to how both teams approach it. More important, how Grimsby approach it. And we shall just see what happens. So I'm saying 2-1. Guys, leave down below and all over the social media. Let me know what you honestly think will happen between the Mariners and the Dons in this game. Are we going to end up getting a second straight win again? Can we go on a little bit of a run this time? 3 home games this week. So I'm going to say in a lot of sense there's no excuse. Because we've obviously got this. We've got Man City on Tuesday night, and then also the FA Cup game the following week against Wealdstone. But the first one we focus on is this. Leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think will happen between Grimsby Town and MK Dons. And if you see me at the ground tomorrow, come and say hello. How you doing? You can come and have a go and say how bad my predictions have been, how good my predictions have been, how fantastic you think I am, how far off it you think I am. It's all good. I love having the interactions with you guys on the YouTube comments down below, or even social media, even when we don't agree with each other. I still respect and enjoy the interactions with you guys. If you can please share this video as well, get me out there more. I would love to have more subscribers. Like, share, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And let's see what we can do on Saturday. Can David Artell do the unthinkable? Well, I say unthinkable. Can he do it? Just before I go, though, this is the last thing on here. I've got to mention this. Everyone's read this by now. Ian Holloway, the former Grimsby Town manager from 4 years ago, has got a job at Swindon Town. I'm not going to linger on this because it's not really our business. But yes, Ian Holloway is back in management, which means that the Mariners will be coming up against Ian Holloway obviously twice this season. Firstly in December and then in March. So we'll run into a few former Grimsby men on that day. In the meantime, guys, enough about that. I just wanted to quickly bring that up. See how quickly I've come off that, don't you? But anyway, like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff, guys. Thank you for your continued support. I really do appreciate it. And I will see you guys with the review of the MK Dons game. In the meantime, guys, up the Mariners. Let's try and defend this time, shall we? And get a couple of goals in the process. Up the Mariners. I'll see you soon. Ta-da for now. Bye-bye.